Hello, I'm Steve Johnson, and welcome to Hometown Shorts. We thought we'd go to downtown Malden and visit the Malden Historical Society. I'm here currently with Ann Bostic, who's one of the volunteers, as well as a board member here at the society, as well as Charles and Jackie Mitchell, who are also volunteers as well as they serve on the board. If you can, Ann, give us a little bit of history of the Historical Society and Museum, as it's officially called.
Okay. It was founded by Miss Mary Katiski in about 1950, and it started in her home. And Miss Bird, her sister, started the first library in Malden. So the two sisters were real important to save the history of Malden. And then it was moved to the old library. And then from there, the Browns, Mr. and Miss Brown, gave us their home. They had no children, and they gave us their home. And we've moved everything here. And we've been lucky. Someone retrieved all of these class pictures in this reunion room because they were just thrown in a storage room after they tore the old building down. They didn't know what to do with them. So we've been asked to be the caretakers of these pictures. And we have as many as, I don't know, we started in what was it, Jackie? 39. And how many did you say, Jackie?
42.
We have 42. So far we have 42. I don't know if there are any more out there, loose.
Someone may have.
And some classes, when their pictures were really broken and damaged, they had them rematted and reframed. And so we have them, as many as we can, on the walls. And the rest of them, to restore them and keep them where they would keep, Charlie and Jackie, in memory of Harriet June Peck, gave us these museum-type envelopes and folders to keep them in, so then you can pick them up and look at them at least. And so, because we just don't have any more wall space, we just run out of space.
Yeah, in fact, we tried to do a little bit of quick math as to how many actual individual pictures that there are. And we came up with somewhere between 3,000 and 4,000 individual pictures of everyone that's graduated from Malden High School. And we were all kind of going around trying to pick out people that we knew. Some of the pictures were quite hilarious of some of the past graduates. I won't mention anybody, but we were going around and trying to pick out, in my case, I did find the picture of my father when he graduated in 41. And Bill had found his parents, and David, we found a picture of David on the wall as well as some of his family. So it is very interesting and a lot of fun to go through and just see some of the students. As someone that didn't really grow up here in town, but I certainly knew a lot of the people.
The three of us we grew up here.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
So we really...
You really enjoy
And
it.
then you also see how styles change. Long hair on some
Oh, yeah.
depending on the class,
Oh, yeah.
the year, and their outfits.
It's a riot. It's an absolute
it is.
riot. My school didn't do anything like this, so it's really nice that they've taken the time over the years to take pictures of the students. As a matter of fact, one of the things you had said was back during the war that they didn't take pictures.
Right. My husband, it was World War II, and he said that because film was they were just no film. They didn't take any pictures of his class and the class before him. So those 2 years.
Yeah, David and I found that very interesting, both being photographers. Of course, he's a professional photographer, but did not know that little tidbit of information.
Malden information.
He said, I tell you, you can't beat it. You can't beat it. How long have you all been involved with the museum?
Oh, well, I've been involved for a little over 7 years. I guess Charlie's been involved probably 20 years maybe.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I wished I had it here, but in the front parlor room, which we did restore recently, and it's really lovely, we have a picture of the original board members. And out of that original group, there are only 3 of us left. And that's Jean Howell, myself, and John Downing.
Wow.
So
Well, I'm to take an undertaking like this certainly takes a lot of time and a lot of volunteers, a lot of effort to put it together. If we can, if you'll just describe what's kind of on the walls and what we have here, and as you describe it, we'll talk about it, and then we're going to add the pictures a little bit later on as to what we're talking about. If you will, we've got looks like a throw or...
Yes, and that Overturf had those made, and I can't remember who gave. A lot of the things in the shelves, classmates in the past, like cheerleader outfits, just all kinds of stuff that they had saved and that were in their attics. They gave it to us to keep.
That was nice.
And like this is
Someone's
Wheatan's,
Letterman's,
the Wheatan boys football jersey. And then in turn, we also have a few annuals here that people have given us. We have sketches of the original Malden schools over here on the old telephone stand. And then we have diplomas from way back. I won't say how far because some of those people are still living. They don't want to talk about it. But in here we have like cheerleader outfits. People that have just given us things for this reunion room. And so we're pleased that this, and especially coming up for Labor Day, we are going to be open extra hours. So if people want to see it or want to contact us to have us open it for their classes, we would.
Oh yeah, this would be a riot, an absolute riot
So.
to come in and see everything. You've even got some pictures over here of class reunions. I was looking at one of them, is like the 35th class reunion
Yes.
and that kind of thing. So you can see the difference of the before and after.
I know.
But certainly all of that, and someone's band uniform, or at
Yes.
least their hat,
Their hat,
and that
yeah.
kind of thing. So it.
And since I'm in charge of the reunion room, I even have snapshots of when my class was in high school. Some hysterical, Jackie, you're over there.
No, I know.
I tried to get a picture of me with every boyfriend that I could.
There you go. That's all right. It's all right. Like I said, and behind us, there's even some more pictures in a room behind us. Not only do you have reunion pictures back there, but I noticed there's some really old.
Oh, yes. Now, that is our oldest room, and this is the room behind us. We have all the information on the drainage district that Mr. Katisky came in, because this was swampland, and we have all of his equipment, engineering equipment, back in this room.
I'll be darned. Well, I was looking at it, and some of the pictures go back to the turn of the last century.
Yes.
And when they were, I guess that's it then, doing the drainage for this area.
We have pictures of the actual workmen that went to work on that, to fix it where we now aren't in swamp.
Oh, listen, if anyone loves history and loves to see things, it's just absolutely fabulous. Y'all have done a great job of putting all this together. Welcome back, and Ann and I have moved into the last room of the museum, which is the oldest room, you were told me, of the artifacts that are here. This room primarily deals with the dredging of the area.
How Malden really used to be, how people lived in that day and time. And this dredge boat was used this was swampland, and Mr. Katisky, who was an engineer, came in. He was hired to clear this land. Mr. Presser, who used to live in Malden, built this replica for us, and it sits here. And we have actual pictures of men going to work, and you can see the water they have to cross to get to work. And you see how it all looks, the railroad, just the actual terribly hard work.
Well, this was around, some of the pictures have like dates on them. This is 1905, so again, the turn of the last century is when they started all this work. This would have been what area? I mean, primarily
Malden on Risco that way. It's all swamp, clear up. You know, it just was all swampland. And so when he put in the drainage ditches, and he was an engineer, and we have his engineering equipment, and we have his books that he wrote about life
you can
here.
See some of the original writing.
Yes, and we have it all here. We have two of his books the life of a busy man, and he really was a busy man. And so it just tells how hard it was here. How life was just hard. I mean, these were like pioneer people behind us. You know, you see how they would churn butter and how they did their laundry. Have some really old pictures of the volunteer fire department with horses, and just some neat artifacts that people have given to us to house for them and keep for them, and to keep history.
Oh yeah,
safe.
this area, both my grandfathers were engineers with the railroad and did a lot of the
Okay.
clearing of the
Yes,
land.
and you see the
Well,
railroad.
that's
how
why I
they-
was looking at the
yeah,
old
the
railroad
how they were
pictures.
trying to
Clear
to
out
bring the
this
railroad.
area. There was a lot of lumber throughout this area at the
Yes.
time.
Yeah.
And cleared the lumber out. I was not aware of all this equipment that had been in the area and all the land clearing, but yes,
Well, we
they.
have a whole history here that I'm holding with actual pictures that of how it looked and what they did do. The railroad was really important because travel was next to impossible. I remember my grandparents talking about coming over from Tennessee and how long it would take them to get to Malden, you know.
Oh yeah.
So
It,
it was-
we think of a long trip of driving from here to Cape as opposed to however they made it
Whoa.
from there to here.
Yeah.
But
Long, long way.
without a doubt. Well, you've done a very nice job again. There's some pictures of the graduates from Malden High School again in this room on the wall.
We had to move them in here. I know they aren't antiques, but we just ran out of wall space.
Oh,
So we
yeah.
they'll just have to be in here with antiques.
There you go. There you go. Welcome back, and Ann and I are currently in, I guess we'd call this the history room.
Yes.
I'm standing next to a microfilm machine, and I understand that you all have put, from about 1914 up, copies of all the Malden Press Merit newspapers.
Yeah,
were
Alan Black
Alan Black was
saved them for us.
He did, and I believe we can access that through this machine. That must have been quite a task in itself, being able to do that. But again, if you're looking for history of Malden, actually the area itself, you could come down here during the normal hours of the museum
Yes.
and come in, turn the machine on, and take a look. Volumes, it looks like, of, well, what all is over there? It looks
Well, they're yearbooks of Federated Women's Club. They're histories of Malden. This machine is used a lot for people that are interested in genealogy, and because they can research their ancestors. And we have, I think, the only other machine is in Kennett at their library. So I think we did a important thing when we purchased this machine for the
Oh
museum.
yeah, I remember as a kid, one of the things always looked at that the Press Merit would run, or where people are at, or what they
Yes,
did on the
yes,
weekend.
yes.
And I can remember reading about
Whose birthday party?
whose birthday party it was, and remember even having my name mentioned one time.
Yes.
A young man that had turned 16 and had a
Yes.
party at his house. But yeah, the paper was great for keeping up with the doings around town and what was going on and who'd made a trip when and what they had done. So I mean, the wealth of
it's
information has got to be tremendous.
Well, Alan's fixed it where no one in Malden can lie about their age.
I'm sure he did a fine job. I'm sure he did a fine job. But the articles that were in the paper, so yeah, genealogy
Oh,
and
my.
finding out about your family and that kind of thing. This thing would be invaluable for people.
And behind you, on the wall, we have a lot of information about the Malden Air Base that was here. We also have some of it. We've given a lot of our information to the Air Base
Itself.
Museum.
Sure.
Yes, on the base. But anyway, we've kept a few things.
Well, this is fabulous. I mean, and you really wouldn't know that all this history is sitting down here.
No, I know.
If you're interested in history and the town and the area, southeast Missouri.
We even have on tape, you can play these tapes of Malden, old-time Malden residents, and they would talk about how Malden used to be. And you can just sit in here and sit in a comfortable chair and listen to them.
That'd be interesting. It really would be. So yeah, we have the cassettes over here. Also, in the volumes, I understand are a lot of photographs and
Yes,
pictures
we have a lot of those.
that were in the press merit. I guess they saved those original pictures. So if you want to take a look at the picture itself as well as the article, certainly have that down here. But this is a very interesting room. I mean, you could spend quite a bit of time
we
and
have
learn.
people that come and stay. They'll stay on this machine for 3 hours as long as the museum's open.
Well, that's
So-
great. That's great. Welcome back. And we were walking from the back of the museum up front. And as we were walking through one of the rooms here, I happened to notice all these arrowheads that are in this nice presentation on the wall. As a kid, I can remember going with J.R. Johnson, or Uncle Buck as I called him, and we would go to the Indian mounds and around the creeks and the rivers as a small boy and go hunting for these arrowheads and all kinds of things that you see hanging on the wall up here. This area, of course, is very well known for its Indian history, its Native American history, and someone has taken the time to make a nice presentation and present it to the museum here. If you have time and you enjoy Indian or Native American history, I would highly recommend coming down and going through. There's a lot of Native American pottery, arrowheads, and some information about this area. It's interesting. You don't see this anymore. You used to be able, like I said, go down the creeks or out by the ditches and walk the ditch rows, and you could find arrowheads. I remember doing that as a boy in this area. But we're going to venture on and head to the front of the museum. Welcome back. And as we were walking through and up and down the parlor area, matter of fact, we had walked by the dentist collection of Egyptian antiquities. You have a very lovely and I understand very well-known collection. Before we came back on camera, we were talking about there's a desk over in the corner that I understand all that was kept in for many years.
Yes, Miss Mary and Katisky and Miss Bird, their relative was the archaeologist, and he was in Egypt, and we also have letters that he wrote to them, and he sent it to them in a shoebox, and we always housed it, but we didn't realize how valuable it was. And they came down from the university, and they even took it on tour to different universities. It was so valuable. And so we had cases built, especially for it now, so it's safe, and it's really interesting to see.
Oh, yeah.
It's older than King Tut. Not as valuable because it doesn't have the gold, but it is older.
Very good. That's very interesting. Yeah, we were walking by, we started talking about it.
Yeah.
So we're now in the parlor area, and
It's newly restored. We took some time off and just redid the museum. And volunteers wallpapered this room. And, we had a gift from the chandelier. A lot of these things are gifts that people have just given us out of their homes, antiques. And so it's the parlor room. It supposedly is the way things used to look.
well,
So-
we've got an old oil-burning lamp sitting on
Yes.
top of how old's the organ?
Oh my, I don't know, and I should be more knowledgeable, but I'm not.
It's got a couple years on it
Yes,
anyway.
right.
Very
Right.
nice, very nice.
And the
What-
clothes here are typical of what ladies wore, the hats. And we also have another room that houses a lot of clothing. So it's just endless. The rooms are endless.
Yeah, there was. We came through one of them, had military uniforms.
We have a war room, what we call the war room, and the children, especially the boys, love that room because we have uniforms.
going back to,
from
I
World
guess,
War
one,
Mhm.
and saw that, and all the way through. I think the newest one is what? Probably Desert Storm.
Yes.
It looked
yes.
like a
Yes, we have
desert
it.
uniform.
We
so,
do. Mhm.
but
We even have surgical equipment from a doctor that operated on the battlefield. So
I'll be
we have
darned.
some neat war stuff. Hester was our postmaster, and we have the blue jeans. He was on a battleship that was sunk, and we have his blue jeans
I'll be
and
darned.
a little article about it. So a lot of interesting things.
Very much so. Well, listen, Ann, I appreciate you taking the
Oh,
time
Well, I'm so glad you all
to
could
come down and unlock the door and let us in.
and make it cool.
And make it cool. Got the air conditioning going, and showed us through the facility and everything you have here at the
I just appreciate
museum.
you and David coming because we just want people to enjoy it as much as we've enjoyed restoring it.
Well, driving by, you would never guess
No.
all that is in here and all of the history and all the hard work that's gone on
And
to put
it's
this.
free. Maybe we ought to
And
start
that,
charging.
yeah,
Maybe we get more
and
people
that's a
than we
really
charge.
good thing. The
free.
charge is free, so
Mhm.
you really owe it to yourself to take the time to come down here, visit with everybody, all the volunteers, and I guess the volunteers are the ones that are here during the day,
Uh-huh.
and walk through. Again, it's on the corner of
Beckwith
and
Howard.
Howard Streets, which is only about 2 or 3 blocks.
1 block from
One block
downtown.
from greater
We're
downtown.
between the Presbyterian Church and the Methodist Church.
There you go.
And
So-
the Baptist.
And the Baptist. If you will, take the time, come down and visit. The hours are from,
They're Wednesdays and Saturdays from 1:30 to 4:30.
okay, there you go. And, also for larger groups, if
Oh,
someone
yes,
wants to
we'll
call ahead.
open, yes.
Okay.
Anything, if you have a group, special time, especially for the reunion. If the reunion people want us to open up, we will.
Super, super. Well, again, thank you for being so gracious
Thank
and
you
allowing
for
us to
coming.
come down here today. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be back in just a bit. Well, we hope you enjoyed this edition of Hometown Shorts in the Malden Historical Museum. Certainly want to thank Ann Bostic and the volunteers that were down here today to open the doors and let us go through the marvelous facility that they have here. If you haven't been through the museums, you should certainly take the opportunity to come on down on a Saturday afternoon and walk through the museum. They've got a lot of interesting things to look at and a lot of things to read and see. For Steve Johnson and YHC TV, we thank you, our viewer, for tuning in, and until next time, we look forward to seeing you then.